What's up, everybody? Well, in the spirit of the World Cup, I've been looking all around trying to find something to watch on the sport that I'm growing to love, rugby. Because there is a 2027 World Cup coming up. So I started looking around. I've been checking out all these videos. There's so many, so I'm super excited to keep learning and continue on that journey. But today, we're going to watch Why Tiny New Zealand Dominates Rugby by Search Party. Link will be down below so you can go over and support their channel. I'm sure they would appreciate that. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this. If you have anything that you want me to check out regarding rugby, send it my way, and I'll do my best to take a look at it if I can. Before we get going here, go ahead and like the video. That does help. Let's see what we can see.
In September 2023, these 20 countries will participate in the biggest tournament of one of the world's most popular sports, rugby.
Oh, here we go.
And you could make a strong argument that one of these 5 teams will win it. England invented the sport and has reached the World Cup.
Now, I know this is 2023, but I'm guessing that these teams are still pretty strong. I mean, I know England is. I know the Springboks are. South Africa, obviously New Zealand, Australia, I would imagine, and Ireland, France.
Finals 4 times. South Africa won the last World Cup in 2019. Ireland is currently ranked number 1 in the world, and France is hosting the tournament. Then there's New Zealand, who might win because, well, they're the most dominant team in the history of rugby, and arguably in all of sports history.
Oh, wow. Oh, he said the All Blacks. So they're the All Blacks. Oh, that's why they're called the All Blacks, because their uniforms are all black. That's cool. That reminds me of Mike Tyson back in the day, who used to come out in just black shorts and black shoes and no robe or nothing. So maybe he was an all black back then.
Since 1903, the New Zealand All Blacks rugby team has only lost to 7 countries, but has a comfortable winning record against all of them. That's all the more impressive when you take into account that New Zealand today only has a population of 5 million people.
Oh, damn.
A fraction of the other countries that have made a World Cup final.
Very unique, obviously, for us to dominate the world because we are a very small part of it.
There is a fervent following of this team, almost religious at times.
So it begs the question, how did such a tiny country create such a dominant sports team? And can the New Zealand All Blacks stay on top?
I mean, I don't know if they're going to copyright this music, so sorry if you just see me dancing, but it's jamming.
Rugby combines the less placid features of American football and English soccer. You can run, pass, or kick the ball, while at the same time protecting yourself from the combined assault of the enemy.
Rugby is a fast,
the combined assault of the enemy.
Violent and chaotic sport with many rules, but one basic premise: get the ball to your opponent's end of the field. The modern form of the game was invented at a school in Rugby, England, around 1820. At the time, England had a world.
Rugby, England? That's how it came up with the name rugby? Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Spanning empire, and it introduced rugby to England around 1820. At the time, England had a world-spanning empire, and it introduced rugby to its colonies, like South Africa and Australia in the 1860s, then New Zealand in the 1870s, where it became especially popular.
Okay, I know this is not a history channel, but I guess I didn't realize that South Africa was a colony of England. I didn't know that.
When rugby came to New Zealand, it came from origins in the UK, where it was very much related to class structure. The elite schools played rugby in the UK.
Tony Johnson is a rugby expert, author, and TV broadcaster in New Zealand.
Welcome back, and Caleb Clark is in!
When it came to New Zealand, it really was the game for everyone. It didn't matter where you came from, what school you went to, you had a go at this game.
That included New Zealand's indigenous population, the Maori. They formed rugby teams almost immediately, and as early as the 1880s, a mostly Maori rugby team called the Natives played matches in other countries.
It was indeed a Maori person, Tom Ellison, who first came up with the idea of New Zealand wearing this black jersey.
Those jerseys are how New Zealand's national team came to be known as the All Blacks. And in 1905, they set off across the ocean to play matches, which, when played between countries, are called tests.
Okay.
The All Blacks surprised everyone by playing a faster, more expansive, and far more organized style of rugby than had ever been seen before.
Even back then, 1905, it sounds like they were a revolutionary team. Wow.
They played 35 tests, and they only lost once. A
What?
success that not only changed rugby, but also how the world saw New Zealand.
New Zealand was starting to search for its own identity. This was the start of it. This was New Zealand. Not so much a British subject anymore, but our own people.
After the tour, the All Blacks embodied that new national identity by fusing rugby with New Zealand culture, most famously by performing a Maori war dance called the haka before every test.
What the hell? Even way back then? That's pretty cool to me. Even way back, I've seen, obviously in this day and age, with the invention of the interwebs, you can see a lot of the haka being performed all over the place. But man, way back then, well, obviously it's probably goes back further than that. But just the fact that they were doing it as a team back then is pretty cool.
I think initially the haka was a greeting, also a challenge, often performed before a battle. Some people feel that the haka gives the All Blacks an unfair advantage. It's psychological.
In 1924, this All Blacks team won all 32 tests on an overseas tour, earning them the nickname the Invincibles. They raised New Zealand's expectations for the All Blacks from simply winning to dominating world rugby.
The superlative All Blacks rugby machine. They once more confirmed their absolute supremacy. World champion. The New Zealand war machine, all set to join the other nations who've fallen before the invincible All Blacks.
According to data gathered by ESPN, between 1900 and 1989, the All Blacks won 71% of their tests.
Oh, wow.
In 1987,
Damn.
they won the first ever rugby.
Wait, how many years was that? Let me see.
According to data gathered by ESPN, between 1900 and 1989,
1900 and 1989, they won 71%.
the All Blacks won 71% of their tests.
Wow.
In 1987, they won the first ever Rugby World Cup.
Okay.
Then from 1990 to 2009, the All Blacks achieved a staggering 80% win rate. When they did lose, they always turned things around by developing new strategies.
We're not the biggest people in the world. The South Africans produced these giants. England, a very sort of gym-trained muscularity about them. But what we do have is it's a combination of athleticism, skill, but also be willing to try something just a little bit out of the ordinary.
More than 100 years after it started playing rugby, this small country of...
I mean, he kind of simplified it a little bit. I mean, is that really what it is? I mean, hold on. I want to hear that again.
These giants, England, a very sort of gym-trained muscularity about them. But what we do have is it's a combination of athleticism, skill, but also be willing to try something just a little bit out of the ordinary.
Athleticism, skill, and willing to try something out of the ordinary. I mean, don't other countries have that? So there has to be something more. I mean, obviously there is something, but maybe that's it. Maybe that's all there is.
More than 100 years after it started playing rugby, this small country of a few million people was still producing the best rugby players in the world year after year. So how does New Zealand do it?
It's the fact that it is our national game. So kids are playing it from when they're small, boys and girls.
Alice Soper is a rugby player and journalist.
You can be 6, so like 5 or 6, and they play something called Ripper Rugby, which is like a primer to the tackle where they have flags on their shorts.
Ripper Rugby teaches kids how to run, pass, and catch, and it's how New Zealand maximizes the number of people who try rugby, thereby maximizing the pool of talent, entering a pipeline that feeds the All Blacks. By the time kids turn 13, they're playing tackle rugby and join club and school teams. Many high schools, called colleges in New Zealand, field multiple teams. Again,
Okay. So it sounds like it's the only show in town. So it sounds like that is the main sport there. And they have kids that start early, 5 years old. But are there any other countries who do that? You would think that's what they would do, but maybe other countries have other options. So the talent can get dispersed in different places. Maybe that's kind of what's happening. Okay. All right. I think we're doing good. And in their high schools, they call them colleges. I don't know. Interesting fact. Fun fact.
Keep as many playing as possible. But the best boys play on their school's top team, where the best of the best are increasingly identified as potential future All Blacks.
You could almost liken it to college sport in the United States.
You're watching Land Rover First 15 Rugby, where we show you the stars of tomorrow today.
Oh, cool. Oh my God.
Then after graduating,
I might be scared if I was the opposition. Because, I mean, that just sounds and feels intimidating. Like you can feel it.
best are hired by teams to play in New Zealand's professional rugby league, Super Rugby. Only professional players that play in New Zealand are eligible to reach the top level, the All Blacks. It's a way for the team to ensure that there is a constant stream of new players that learn the game the New Zealand way.
They have to be all things. So they've got to be able to kick, they've got to be able to run, they've got to be able to tackle.
There's an expectation that they will play rugby the way the New Zealand public expect to see them play, which is this rather flamboyant style.
Oh, really?
Possibly the greatest generation of All Blacks ever played from about 2010 to 2016. Over that time span, they won 90% of their tests and never lost at home. Plus, they won 2 more World Cup championships. Several players on the 2015 team played at the same schools, and they all played for one of 5 Super Rugby teams.
Wait, I want to see that.
Players on the 2015 team played at the
Okay. Okay, so looks like each school had at least 2 people, the ones that are represented here. I'm guessing these are all like the high schools.
Same schools, and they all played for one of 5 Super Rugby teams.
Probably the most well-known would be Richie McCaw. He was your typical kind of like hard man, absolutely no fear going into the contact.
Daniel Carter, for example, who was like the Joe Montana of the All Blacks. He was a brilliant player, but he was a great strategist as well.
But while the top of the...
Wait a second. The Joe Montana of the All Blacks? Really? Like one of the best in history? That's who Joe Montana is. And he was just like high completion percentage and super smart. All of that. Wow.
Pipeline gets all the glory. New Zealand's real advantage over its much bigger rivals is at the bottom.
Other countries may have a similar kind of narrow trajectory through your schoolboys into your academies. They just don't have as many people bundling in at that beginning point.
It's quite a rugged sort of a game that suited the early pioneers of New Zealand, and these days it provides opportunity now for young people coming out of perhaps some of the more difficult socio-economic areas of New Zealand.
So the All Blacks dominate rugby because New Zealand transformed it into a game for everyone. But whether or not their domination continues is up for debate.
Huge World Cup.
Oh, really? Uh-oh. Here we go. Well, it had... Oh, damn. Didn't the Springboks win the last one? So maybe it is up for debate. And then... Oh, did they... Yeah, they won the last World Cup, I think. 2023.
Upset. These men are too good for the All Blacks.
In 2019, the All Blacks failed to make the World Cup finals. Then in 21 and 22, they lost a stretch of 6 out of 8 tests, which pushed them to an all-time low ranking of 5th in the world. It led some to speculate that the All Blacks were in decline and question whether they could continue to dominate world rugby. Blame was placed on the COVID pandemic and the All Blacks coach Ian Foster. Most importantly, though, the losses forced New Zealanders to reflect on how their country's relationship with rugby is changing. A 2018 report found...
Okay, so did the coach get fired? I'm just wondering, because that's kind of how it works these days. So, and then that's interesting. Because they started losing, it sounds like they were reconsidering like the relationship with the country. I think that's what he was saying. Let me hear that again.
Pandemic and the All Blacks coach Ian Foster. Most importantly, though, the losses forced New Zealanders to reflect on how their country's relationship with rugby is changing. A 2018 report found that the number of high school boys playing rugby was falling, while other sports were on the rise.
New Zealand has had phenomenal success in sports like rowing, basketball, but they've taken away athletes who once upon a time would have been All Blacks.
Like a lot of...
Well, that's what I was saying at the beginning, that it seems like they were the only show in town. But now it sounds like they're not. Because it's probably like the cool, trendy thing to do something else besides rugby now, I bet.
Kind of male,
Athletes who once upon a time would have been All Blacks.
like a lot of kind of male prevalent sports, they then start to take on that identity of like real heavily masculine spaces, which isn't necessarily what people want to be around. It's become out of step with younger New Zealanders.
And many worry that high school rugby is increasingly dominated by a few privileged schools that are making the game too professional at the expense of the rest. A 2013 investigation found that 5 schools in Auckland are estimated to have spent $400,000 on their rugby teams, while their competitors...
What the hell? 400,000, so they each got like 90,000 or something like that. Maybe less than that. My math wasn't right. Wow. 80,000.
spent only $50,000. Over the next 5 years, the number of Auckland high school rugby teams fell from 225 to 181.
It's become very elitist, with the schools really focusing on the elite teams. What happens to all the players who aren't good enough to play for the first team?
Just a lot of pressure when you're 15. So we're starting to see people realize, oh, well, this isn't working out here. We need to be changing things.
The most immediate challenge keeping the All Blacks from total domination, though, is the rest of the world. The rivals are getting better, particularly France and Ireland.
Yeah, that's the other element that I was thinking. You know, it's not like they lost it. It's like these other teams got better. Okay, and he said France and...
is the rest of the world. The rivals are getting better, particularly France and Ireland. Additionally, professional rugby leagues in Europe and Asia are getting very popular. And they're attracting a lot of New Zealand's players, making them ineligible to play for the All Blacks.
And even the lure of that black jersey for some players simply isn't enough when they think they can set themselves up for life.
In England, you've got a couple of Kiwis that are over there. If you look at the European teams, same thing there. Japan, currently run by a New Zealander. We put our people everywhere, and then we're surprised when they start to know our tricks.
So while the loss of these players may hurt the All Blacks' ability to win tests, it does ensure that New Zealanders will continue to remain at the cutting edge of rugby well into the future.
Well, yeah.
Now, even though the popularity of boys rugby
I think he's talking about the coaches. Is that what he means by that?
may be falling in New Zealand, the popularity of women's rugby there is exploding, and the women's All Blacks team is number 2 in the world. Thanks again for watching episode 3. This was a fun one.
So who's number 1 on the women's side? England, maybe? I'd be curious to know that. That was super interesting. And I do need to find a more current video. I think this one's like 2 years old. But it would be good to find a current video and see what their standing is right now, who's the best in the world, and all of those things. I really am looking for those things. There's so many out there. I want to pick some that are actually good videos. So if you have something on leagues, teams, you know, the World Cup, like qualification for the World Cup, things like that, there's a link down below for a recommendation form. Go ahead and fill that out, or you can drop it in the content, drop it in the comments, and I'll do my best to get around to it. Hey, this was a lot of fun. If you like these kind of videos, then hey, subscribe to the channel, man. It's easy and it's free. My name is Greg. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.